بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So inshallah today's session will continue until 11:15. After 11:15 we'll take some time for Q&A, and inshallah without any delay we'll begin. We're already late, so bismillah sayyidi.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله الذي أنزل الكتاب بالحق والميزان وما يدريك لعل الساعة تكون قريب يستعجل بها الذين لا يؤمنون بها والذين آمنوا مشفقون منها ويعلمون أنها الحق من ربهم ألا إن الذين يمارون في الساعة لفي ضلال بعيد الله لطيف بعباده يرزق من يشاء وهو القوي العزيز. من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤته منها وما له في الآخرة من نصيب. صدق الله مولانا خالقنا العظيم. نسألك يا من هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدئ المعيد المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الأحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم العفو الرؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير اللهم صل أفضل صلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيد الأولين والآخرين وعالم السابقين وقائد الغر المحجلين وشفيع المذنبين وسيد ولد آدم أجمعين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله الغر الميامين وأصحابه نجوم الدين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما وفقينا إذا علمتنا. اللهم إنا تبرأنا من حولنا وقوتنا والتجأنا إلى حولك وقوتك. Amma ba'd, dear brothers and sisters, just few marks or few notes before going to the holy names. The first one, the term Al-Asma Al-Husna was mentioned in the Holy Quran in 4 different surahs. Okay, according to most scholars, this is what they mean by the 99 name. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has much more names, than 99. Okay, but for the 99, according to many scholars, this is what meant, by Asma al-Husna. I should see the relation, It's mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, Surah Al-Isra, Surah Taha, and Surah Al-Hashr. Okay, why? This is my understanding, you may differ with me. Al-A'raf, this is for the Khilafah in the earth. The one who wants to be Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the earth, he should have all of these 99 names, manifested, on himself, in his attitude, in his characters, and you name it, In Surah Al-Isra, this is started by Subhana. That's just to tell us that whatever you feel about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is transcends, it's not as such, okay? That's why you have the main controversy, is this is originally to belong to Allah, and it's has been expressed for us, as second game or second case, or it is the opposite, it's originally for us, and it has been described for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as second. You have this controversy. What I'm trying to say, when I try to see the translation of it, you are going to find many of those, the most, the best, the eternal, the all, or whatever. Why did he express himself, as such, in the translation? Because I feel, I may be wrong, that he felt that he is incapable, of giving the right explanation or right translation to whatever he wants to know. And this should be our attitude toward all of the holy names, okay? What we know, what we experience, this may make us, understand more, but we are going to be completely, out of it, as mentioned in the introduction. This is mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, لا أحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. I'm incapable, of praising you the way you praised yourself. And that's why Imam Shafi'i did say, آمنت بالله على مراد الله. I'm going to believe in Allah according to Allah, not according to me. And that's why, here we have massive opening, should be restricted to our Holy Quran and Holy prophetic tradition, and the opinion, of our scholars, But whenever it doesn't contradict with any of these items, you may have some good thought that never come to me. That's why in some of these translations going to give meaning, I may look at another meaning of it, and that's why, generally speaking, the look, you have the negative and affirmative way, of expressing ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, what do I mean by the affirmative? When you say Ar-Rahim, there is a mercy. Okay, when you say Ar-Razaq, there is rizq, and you name it, When you say Quddus, that means he transcends subhanahu wa ta'ala of anything that may come to your mind. You have some names, you may analyze them or understand them, according to the affirmative way or negative. Not all of them. Most of the names, they are in the affirmative way, But you have some of them, that you may understand them according to the affirmative or negative way, of it. Okay. That's why you have some names which go with the opposite. Mu'azz al-Muzil, al-Khafid al-Rafi'. Okay? You have other names, they are absolute. Al-Hayy, you cannot say Al-Mayyid, the dead. You cannot say the dead for Allah subhanahu. The knowledgeable one, you cannot say the ignorant. You see, what I'm trying to say, you are going to find certain names, the opposite of it. You cannot call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by it, You have some opposites, of names, I try to gather them together. Perhaps I did not make all of them, but I make a good amount of them just out of comparison. Why? Because the comparison is going to make us, understand it much better. Okay? They said, and if you want to this benefit, there is some attribute related to the self صفة الذات, and some attributes related to his actions. How do you differentiate between the self and the action? The self, you don't have the opposite of it. When you say Alim, Hayy, Qayyum, okay, you don't have the opposite of it. When you have it for actions, you may have the opposite of it, okay? Like Mu'izz, Mudhil, Muhyi, Mumit, Mani', Mu'ti, and you name it, okay? So this is one way of differentiating. In Holy Quran, most of these names, they have been in two settings, two names in one setting, This is the most common rule. You may have an exceptional way, one name only. You may have 3, you may have 4 of them. The maximum, to best of my knowledge, they were 4, You don't have more than 4 names, except the group that have been mentioned yesterday, but toward the end of Surah Al-Hashr. Okay, so here the transcendence is very important point here. Whenever you hear any name, whether it's in the affirmative or it's in the negative way. That's why in Surah Subhan and the other Surah Al-Hashr, when you have this pile, of the holy names, it was started by Sabbaha Lillah. Again, transcendence, You don't find it in elsewhere, The very last surah was Taha. For me, Taha is Jalali Surah, majestic Surah. And this, when you want to look at these names, in the affirmative way, you should have the Jalali look, That's me. This is way above my thought, way above my experience, and you name it. You got this message, So, as I said, most surah, they are going to end by 2 names. I'm not going to say they are opposite each other. No, they have some common meaning, which make them, come together. But I'm going to say they speak about different scope. You see, the scope may be negative and affirmative, maybe for denying something, and affirming something. Is it the same thing, It may be something related to himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala, something related to his creation, or different scope. What I'm trying to say, you have different scope, If I fail to understand myself, I'm speaking about myself. If I fail to understand the different scope, of these 2 holy names, doesn't mean by any way that it doesn't have the 2 scopes, This is my impression. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to mention the 2 holy names, highly selected in our view, because of the 2 different scopes. You may have other scopes, perhaps they are not as important as what has been mentioned, the Holy Quran. And this should be our way in understanding, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. Out of having this problem in translation, or this problem in understanding some of the holy names, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I found out, this idea just came to me recently, that the best thing, of explaining the holy name is going to be a verse in the Holy Quran or prophetic hadith, okay? And whereas when I try to have it from my own or my side, I'm going to feel the deficiency there, okay? When I have this verse, even though I am going to have the same case, I'm not going to be as smart as to understand everything meant there, but I feel relaxed, I feel relief, because I have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing what I think this match this holy name. I'll try, I work hard, for the one who is interested, we may give the number, of the verse, if he wants to understand it very well. After this, inshallah, we'll try to start, with the holy names, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hopefully we'll be able, to finish all of them, Firstly, what has been mentioned, Surah Al-Hashr, and this is the common trend, for all narration, all collection, of holy names. They start by the names, mentioned in Surah Al-Hashr. Here you feel ourselves, very rich. Why? Because this has been mentioned in the Holy Quran. You have this large group of collection, ended by saying Lahul Asma'ul Husna. Okay, this I have no problem in fixing or affirming that this is one of the Asma al-Husna. It starts by Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. We started, in many occasions, Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim this quotation is quite familiar for us, to be used, in many aspect, you know. You have it in Surah Al-Fatiha, you have it elsewhere, you know, and that's why if I spend a little bit more time, you know, with these two holy names, you know, I'm not wasting my time, okay, I may not be as stuck, you know, in the rest of the holy name. You know. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, both of them, they are derived from the mercy, the word mercy or Rahmah, okay, and they are in Arabic language in the excessive form. When you say fa'alan, that's mean excessively. This is what I understand. I'm not speaking about Allah. Now I'm speaking linguistically, okay? Just be sure you know about. Ar-Rahman is excessive. Ar-Rahim, fa'il, again, it's an excessive way, okay? Here, you have a lot of controversy, you know. In my understanding, the holy name Ar-Rahman has been repeated, you know, in the Quran 75 times. The holy name Ar-Rahim doubled this, you know, it was 114 times. Okay. I said 75, not 70, 57 instead of 75. 57 times, you know, and 114 times. Okay. So here, what's about Al-Ism Ar-Rahman? Okay. Ar-Rahman, I think the best way of explaining this holy name is Surah Al-Rahman. All of those matters, you know, mentioned in Surah Al-Rahman, all of these actions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's side, they belong to the holy name Ar-Rahman. That's why when we say that Ar-Rahman has been repeated 57 and Ar-Rahim 114, they are not same, you know, this. Why? Because in most cases, Ar-Rahim is going to be at the end of the verses, as you may expect for other names, you know. Whereas Ar-Rahman, in some surahs, namely, I may name Surah Al-Furqan, Surah Maryam, Surah Tabarak, you are going to have it as a substitute of the holy name Allah. You got my point? Yani here, Ar-Rahman, with exceptions, you know, was mentioned at the end of the verse. Like when we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, if this is considered a verse. When you say Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim inside Surah Al-Fatiha. When you say in Surah Al-Baqarah, wa ilahukum ilahun wahidun la ilaha illa huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When you say in Surah Fusilat, Tanzilun min ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Here you have this exceptional expression, you know. These are 4 or 5, I don't know, okay. But the rest of them, they have been mentioned, in my understanding, as a substitute of the holy name Allah. Okay, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa. Okay, or other examples, you know. My understanding of the holy name Rahman, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ, that my mercy is for everything, you know. That's mean Ar-Rahman is the collection of all names, you know, and all attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The beautiful one, or the honorable one, or the majestic one that we feel fear of it, you know. All of it, you should look at it, you know, from the mercy side, you know, of it, you know. Okay? And that's why some interpreters, you know, of the Quran, they said, قُلْ إِدْعُوا اللَّهَ أَوْ إِدْعُوا الرَّحْمَنَ أَيَّمَّا تَدْعُوا فَلَهُ. Here you have pronoun. The pronoun, according to this interpretation, it goes back to the holy name Allah or the holy name Ar-Rahman. That for that particular name belong all names or all attributes, you know. As I said, you know, at the beginning, the best explanation of the holy name Ar-Rahman is going to be Surah Al-Rahman, because speak about from the beginning of our story, you know, the beginning of our creation, you know, our presence, till the end, you know, when we, inshallah, all of us will be in heaven, you know, and in between, okay. So that's why Ar-Rahman, this may be felt, you know, for some scholars, that this is only Ar-Rahman for this life, not for the hereafter. What's against it, you know, when the Prophet ﷺ said, Rahman ad-dunya wal-akhirati وَرَحِيمَهُمَا. Okay, you have the two holy names, they have their manifestation in this life and in the hereafter. How? Don't ask me how, because I may know some minute thing, I'm going not to know, many of those matters, related to the holy name Rahman. Yeah, this is what gave me this. Even though I believe in the holy names or attributes of Allah, you have the majestic one and you have the nice one or whatever, of that regard, But I feel there is some deviation toward the mercy much more. And this is what has been summarized in Hadith al-Qudsi, وَرَحْمَتِي تَسْبِقُ غَضَبِي. It's going to come at first, before the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, even though he is one of those great person who hold the both meanings, of toughness, and being kind, but he has some deviation toward the rahmah more, as I said, And that's why this has been derived, the holy name Ar-Rahman is derived from mercy, not derived from tough meaning or tough wording, okay? Because of that particular point, okay? And that's why our Prophet, he was described in many ahadith, not some, many ahadith, not all of them, many ahadith as Khalilur Rahman or Habibur Rahman. Okay, that's what it means. The friend of Ar-Rahman or the beloved one by Ar-Rahman. Okay, why? This is not a matter, of taking some name, putting some. No, this to tell us, that he is the most efficient, in holding those attributes, which belong to the holy name Ar-Rahman. Okay, that's why he, in many of this narration, as I said, not all of them, and even when they have this problem as narrated in Sahih Muslim. Some of the Ansar, he called his son Qasim. The people, the Ansar, they said, we are not going to call you Abu al-Qasim. Abu al-Qasim, our dear person is Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu. We are not going to call you Abu al-Qasim. Okay? The Prophet sallallahu gave him the idea, call your son, Abdul Rahman. Why did he say Abdul Rahman, not Abdullah, not Abdul Rahim? I think for the same purpose, okay? Because here, even though you change the name, but the whole meaning, still hanging there, You did not take away the whole meaning of it. So, call your son, Abdul Rahman, okay? And here, I have this collective data about the holy name Ar-Rahman. I feel it's the only name, the holy name that may have the collection, of all names or all attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have some scholars, they said, any name in indirect way may hold the whole names. When you say Al-Alim, okay, the knowledgeable. Our knowledge is not, we are in very small amount, we are knowledgeable, but in the rest of it, we are not knowledgeable. We are completely ignorant, That's why when we say that Al-Alim, this is in Arabic language, when you have Al, the word is, the noun is going to start by Al, it means the most perfect one, And here when you mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by this, the knowledgeable, by indirect way you are going to include all the holy names and all of the attributes. Okay? Here in indirect way, whereas in Ar-Rahman, in very direct way, you are going to include all names, and all attributes, of Allah subhanahu. Then we go to the Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say in Quran, وَكَانَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ رَحِيمًا. This is the special mercy. If I able to say, the first one was the common mercy, and this is the special mercy for believers, And you see how in the quotation when you say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, how you climb up, or perhaps go down, I don't know. Okay, you say Allah, this is for the identity. Then you say Ar-Rahman, which is for the collection, of the attributes and name. Then you are going to be specific, speaking about the believer. You see how great is this graduation when you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. How great is it, how you move from one name to, you see this high selectivity, of the holy names, Ar-Rahim, as I said, has been mentioned frequently in the Quran. Perhaps this is the most frequent one, to say Ghafur ar-Rahim. Okay, yeah, has been mentioned in the Holy Quran frequently. You have some of these names, perhaps it was mentioned once or twice. So here, holy name Ar-Rahim may be attached to Ra'uf, may attached to other names, but to Barr or whatever, but most of its cases is going to be attached to what? Ghafoor, okay? And here, I may look at from the positive and negative side, because Rahim, the one who is going to provide, supply you with the positive matters, in this life, it's going to be one type of limitation, or restricted, and in the hereafter is going to be much more absolute, We're not going to be the absolute of the absolute. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not ourselves, okay? But it's going to be much more absolute in the hereafter, for Rahim. Whereas Ghafoor, it has two components. It has the component of covering up. Ghafoor, Mighfar. What's the meaning of Mighfar? Mighfar, when you protect yourself, in the war, in their, the old way, of having, you're fighting, so here you have some of the covering up, and you have some meaning of the forgiveness, And as you may see, both of them, they are in the negating matter, Covering, that's mean, don't show it to anyone. When you say forgiveness, that's mean I'm going to erasing those sinful actions that you have done, okay? And this is, I would like to mention, this particular hadith in this occasion, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I love this hadith a lot, when in the hereafter, He's going to make the believer get closer to Him. Don't ask me how, I don't know how, okay? And He's going to put His kanaf on him. I don't know what's the reality of kanaf, but I know in this life, when you have significant care about someone, you are going to put your kanaf for him, okay? This is what I understand. Then He's going to speak with that particular person, subhanahu wa ta'ala, tell him, you have done so and so in your life, some sinful action. He said, I covered it for you in the life, and I'm going to forgive you today. Okay, yeah, I see, I cannot express myself here. You have the privacy, you have the kindness, you have the mercy, you have many, many things that may come pass through my mind, and you have many other things, I don't have this experience. I completely believe in it, that may not come to my mind, of the kindness, and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Then we move to Al-Malik. I think when you say Al-Malik, may mean the king, even in one translation, he says the sovereign, okay? You want me to write it down, or you have it here? Here I have different translation, Shall I write it down? I don't know. The sovereign, S-O-V-E-R-E-G-I-N. Sovereign. Okay, sovereign. Why he gave this translation? In my understanding, I may be completely wrong, because he want to make something, different than king, because in our mind we know the king. But when we say the king, it's going to be completely different than the ordinary, the usual way we have it, in our life. Okay. One of the best verses, or two verses I'm going to highlight for you. The first one, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ تُولِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَتُولِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَتُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ وَتُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ وَتَرْزُقُ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. According to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you may have this, you may have that. This I don't have time, to translate them, but this is in Surah Ali Imran. They are the verses number 26 and 27, of Surah Ali Imran. The one who is interested, he may go back, and read the translation. You have another one, I think this is verse number 16 in Surah Ghafir, okay? لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. What I understand from these verses, in this life, you should believe that the one in charge is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He has the full authority to put someone up or someone down, or give his some part of His kingdom to someone, or take it away from someone. Okay? Besides many other actions, mentioned in that particular surah. Here in this life, you may have someone compete with Allah or declare that he is better than Allah or better, I don't know. Okay? But in the hereafter, you don't have anyone, When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala manifested Himself and said, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, as I said, if you are interested in these two verses, go back to Surah Ali Imran, verse number 26, 27, and Surah Ghafir or Surah Al-Mu'min, verse number 16, you are going to have better, And here, for me, I understand it, in the positive form of it, I don't look at it, from the negative one, Even though the kings of this life, they try to show themselves that they are perfect, they don't have any sinful or any deficiency, inside themselves, Then you move to Al-Quddus. This was translated here. You have some translation, and here in this reference, he translated it as the holy. I think this is for transcendence. This is one of the apparent, negating matter, toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever is going to come to your mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completely different, okay? And that's why this is, I look at it from the negative side, negative component of it, And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did say in one hadith in night prayer, what did he say? Subbuhun Quddus. He gave another name. This is not included in the 99 name, but I think for me it's going to give me an idea when he said Subbuhun Quddus, transcendence, okay? And this is really, if you want to understand fully the holy name Al-Quddus, you should have Subhana, which is Surah Al-Isra, and you should have Al-Musabbihat. This has been called by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Al-Musabbihat. You have certain surahs in the Quran called Al-Musabbihat. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to recite them, every night. Namely, they are Surah Al-Hadid, Surah Al-Hashr, Surah Al-Saf, Surah Al-Jumu'ah, Surah Al-Taghabun, and lastly Surah Sabbih Isma Rabbika Al-A'la. You have three of them. They start by the form of past tense, okay, sabbaha. Then you have two of them start by the present tense, say yusabbihu. Then you have the last one start by the order or command form, sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la. Okay, and these have been called, al-musabbihat by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And some of them related to this dunya, some is related to our religion, some related to the hereafter, and you are going to see the greatness, Some of us may feel there's some deficiency, in this life, or some deficiency in the creation of Allah, not in ourselves, or in our religion, or the hereafter, or you name it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to deny, to define, to defend those points, not defending Himself subhanahu wa ta'ala is much higher, and greater, just to defend those points, and I'm sorry, perhaps we are in real need, such a thing, nowadays, because we have a lot of accusation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have a lot of accusation to the messenger. We have a lot of accusation to Islam as a religion, and you name it, and we should eliminate and enlighten ourselves, in this, and this is by the holy name Subbuh, by the holy name Quddus. You have, as I said, this is Al-Quddus, Al-Malik Al-Quddus. This term has been mentioned in Surah Al-Hashr. Again, it's mentioned in Surah Al-Jumu'ah. يُسَبِّحُ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ Al-Malik Al-Quddus Al-Aziz Al-Hakim. This is the first verse, in Surah Al-Jumu'ah. What is Surah Al-Jumu'ah? Surah Al-Jumu'ah, I'm going to speak about my level, This is the Friday prayer that we do, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the King. He may give whatever he wants to give to some of his servants, and we have been given, in Jum'ah, we have been given, a massive matters, that may understand some of it, and may not understand the rest of it, I'm going to give you example, according to our position in Jum'ah, we are going to observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter, which is, according to some ahadith, is much more important than the luxurious life that you have in the heaven, not on the earth, in the heaven. Okay? Yani you have some tool, you have some way in this life to have significant achievement in that most, I think my word, even they don't fit, the most honorable position for any humankind, Now you have a channel for it. You may work hard, for it. You may do something, for it, And he said Al-Malik, then he said Al-Quddus. Why Al-Quddus? Because this is maybe felt by someone that this is unjust, to give these people, those dumb people, give them as such, and not giving those who are strongly, religious or whatever. Allah did not give them this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said Al-Quddus. Okay, that's mean you have that. Lastly, for the holy name Al-Quddus, you have in the Quran the word mentioned Tabarak. This is not mentioned frequently in Quran. Perhaps it was mentioned 5 times. I haven't counted them, Perhaps 5 times, more or less, Tabaraka, they said, the scholars, you cannot say it except for Allah. You may say to the person, Barakallahu feek. You may say, but Tabaraka, Tafa'ala, you cannot call it except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's one hadith, the way I understand it, that particular hadith, that you may feel hating to have this or disliking this, but in the meanwhile, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make it, give a lot of blessing to you in that particular. What I'm trying to say, I may not be, able to explain myself, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is felt by those lousy creation, that he is bad, or we dislike this action or whatever, when you have in this particular action, you are going to find the blessing, you are going to find the magnification, many of those matters, I'm going to give you example of it. The Prophet ﷺ did say, Al-mawtu kaffaratun likulli muslim. All of us, we hate this. The Prophet ﷺ changed the fact of this to make it as expiation, of taking all of our sins, because this is really is going to me. This is what I understand. It's going to be harmful to me, I'm going to be taken away from everything that I feel it's natural for me, And the Prophet ﷺ gave us this great look, for it, This is, you may understand it through the name, through the verb or the word Tabaraka. Okay? When you say Tabaraka, that means there's some matters, maybe many or less, in this life that you look at them, as disliked for you, as an action. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has them. The most matter to be put there, I'm sorry to tell you, I've read it, in book. One person was against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What did he say, Non-believer. He said because he has severe illness, before passing away, that means he's not good man. Okay. Whereas, you see, this Sayyidah Aisha, what did she say? لا أكره شدة الموت لأحد بعدما رأيت من رسول الله. I'm not going to hate to have severe illnesses or severe sickness, after what I have experienced or observed, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see, you see the difference. I'm sorry. Perhaps I should speak a little bit more, about it, because nowadays we judge ourselves and the others, according to it. Will say, so and so doesn't deserve this, Why, ya Allah, did you do this for him, This is completely wrong, and the scale completely invalid, for such a case, And you don't have the authority, to judge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to say, why ya Allah, okay. This is exactly the opposite of the Sufi people. The Sufi people in the old days, when they have poverty, they will say, marhaban bi shi'ar as-salihin, welcome, welcome. And when they have some richness or some luxurious life, what they'll say, dhanbun ujilat uqubatah. This is a sinful action I have done, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make me busy, with those matters, that to forget Allah. You see, here what I'm trying to say, our standard, our scale nowadays is completely opposite of some creation like us. We are not speaking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are in the lowest level, and we shouldn't judge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. I'm not telling you, we may hate something, we may dislike something, we may suffer some pain, we may suffer something, but you should have the full confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From this holy name Al-Quddus, from the holy name As-Subbuh, from the verse, the chapters in the Quran was called by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam Al-Musabbihat. Move to next one, As-Salam. Here again he highlighted the peace, and even in my translation, security or the secure. This holy name, I may take it from the affirmative one or from the negative one. What do I mean by it? From the affirmative, peace or secure. From the negative, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be saved from every thought come to my mind. You see, this is the negative form of it, So this name for me is good example that you may take it from the affirmative or from the negative side. Okay? As-Salam, what is going to pass through my mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saved from it, He's way above this, He's not going to be affected, by this matter by one way or another. We'll move to next name, Al-Mu'min. Here they said infuser of faith. In my translation, keeper of faith. You may have it, in understanding, This was one of the characters of the Prophet ﷺ, as is going to listen and believe for you. Okay? Even though you are liar. Okay? How did I say so? Because in one hadith, the Prophet describing Allah, what did he say? لا أحد أحب إليه العذر من الله. No one love excuses like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I may give some lousy, very bad excuse, not accepted by any of the audience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted. Okay. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was his attitude, and he was condemned by it, by some hypocritics. What you read, in the verse number 61 in Surah Tawbah, وَمِنْهُمُ الَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ النَّبِيَّ وَيَقُولُونَ هُوَ أُذُنٌ. Among them, among the hypocritics, some people, they hurt or harm the Prophet. They say, uzun, like an ear. In Arabic, when you say like an ear, that means anything you are going to mention to him, is going to listen to it, and fully understand it, قُلْ أُذُنُ خَيْرٍ لَكُمْ. This is good for you. Decent ear for you. Believe in Allah and believe for the believers, If I want to have some comment here, I'm going to speak about myself. Even though I was raised up in Middle East, but I went to the school, okay, which means for me, I have been raised up in the Western way. The Western way, what is it, Don't believe anything till you have a proof about it. This is, in my view, you may correct me, is the completely opposite of being Siddiq. The Siddiq, the one who believe in many matters, especially these matters, come from honest people, come from truthful people, come from some possibility. Is it possible to have it done, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not, You should believe in it, Yani what I'm trying to say, all of our culture, all of our circumstances, I'm speaking about myself, is to make me, say that one is liar and the other one is liar, and don't believe in this person. Why? Because this did not happen to me. It's quite strange, There's famous sheikh, he met with very highly educated, scientists, in his time. This is roughly 900 years ago or so. That person, the scientist, what did he? I believe in awliya, but nowadays we don't have any wali. This was the comment, of that particular person. And the sheikh told him, how many cities you have entered, He counted perhaps 5 more or less, He said, the wise person, even if he entered most of the cities, in his time, and he's left with very few cities that he did not enter, he will say, you may have some awliya in those cities that I haven't entered, but the stupid one, is going to have this judgment, and he did not enter except, 5 or 6 cities, Now what I'm trying to say, if we are here, to believe whatever happened to us, we are going to be quite poor. Okay, we are going to be quite far of this holy name, Al-Mu'min, Whereas those who believe, they may be looked at as stupid, may be looked at as fool, But when they believe in such thing, they did not waste anything. They did not lose anything, We are the loser, As one great sheikh told the other person who has complete denial, he said, you have Hermanim, 2 Herman. You don't find it inside yourself and you don't believe it for the others. Okay? Those matters, made the whole Muslim, materialistic, in their life. Don't tell me about Allah, I want some money. Okay? Don't tell me about Allah, I'm too hungry, I want to eat. Okay? Don't tell. I'm not exaggerating, but wallahi, even in this time, in one visit to US, not the very last visit, perhaps one visit before or 2, you hear some of those extraordinary stories here in US, just to tell me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there, It's not a matter, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala handicapped, or incapable of doing it. We just hear them from the companion. For sure, we are going to hear them from the companion much more frequent than what we have nowadays. Why? What's the point there? Why we hear it from the companion much more than us, Not only because they are better than us. No, we have very important point, which is, I'll try to call by iPhone. I try to find this person. You see, our heart has been badly, distributed, looking here and there for someone to help them, Whereas we keep to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I usually give this example, Even though I'm going to waste some of your dear time, but I'm going to mention it, because I feel it as a problem, When someone gets sick, you'll go and seek one medical advice, right? Okay. That doctor is going to write him a prescription. He tries it. No cure. We'll go to another physician. Another prescription. No cure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then number 20, he has the gut, to tell him, sorry, my friend, your disease is incurable. The believer at that point, is going to remember there is someone called Allah. Okay, I'm going to cry. I'm going to have night prayer. I'm going to say, Ya Allah. I'm not telling you don't go to these physicians, But from the first step you should put in your mind, no one has the authority to give you benefit except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one has the authority to take away your harmful matters, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. Why we have this attitude, I'm not telling you are disbeliever. No, you are believer, you strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as myself, as most of the audience, we tend to forget Allah subhanahu. We are going to have other channels, We're going to try everything. When we have complete failure, when they tell us that we have cancer, when they tell us that we have this thing, when this is against the US law, and no one is going to help you, then we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for me, this is very bad attitude, to have it as such, You should have the confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the first step that you have in your life, Okay? You should feel. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did mention it specifically. وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not that far of you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not the one doesn't listen to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not blind, to see you. And you name it. And you have it confirmed. If you don't believe in me, but you should believe in that particular verse mentioned in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. What does it mean? When I feel the necessity for it, the only one in charge to relieve me is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is for guarantee. It's guaranteed to be relieved from me. Why? You have many people, they may drown, in the ocean without any help. This is my, alhamdulillah, I was not in this experience, but this is my explanation, because they have expectation that ship is going to come, or someone is going to come and save them, or whatever. But those, I have no doubt, those who just left it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are going, to have full submission. You are Muslim. What's the meaning of Islam? To have full submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to save them. I'm going to mention this story. I'm sorry, to stay here for a little bit longer time. A woman called me, and I was in my surgical clinic. Or surgery, they say, call it, not surgical. I'm not surgeon. Okay, so she has a problem. She has a disease. It needs some measurement, in this life. Maybe hard or difficult to her. She said, no, I'm going to rely in Allah to cure me. What was my answer? I told her, your reliance in Allah is very great one, But to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to cure you, as if you are putting a condition for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you should cure me, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my slave, is going to obey me, cure me. Okay, do this for me. I'm sorry to tell you, I have heard, I haven't met, with such a person. Hafiz Quran back in some countries, when he has very bad circumstances, kept saying, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, no answer, he became what? Atheist. Why? Why did he become atheist? Because he did not know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants Allah as something, under his hand or under his arm, whatever I dictate in you, you should do it, No, I told that woman, your reliance on Allah is very great, I cannot describe it, But to put a condition that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to cure you, this is if you are interested in being cured, go by the measurement that we have it available nowadays, Don't put a condition on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? You should have full confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Especially for the believer. Why? Because as believer we feel that this is a stage, This is not the end of the story. Perhaps for the atheist it's the end of the story. If one die or have this, or that, this is the end of the story. For us, this is not the end of the story. This is one of the stages that we are going to run or pass through them, And that's why we should upgrade our understanding about Allah. You came here for something?
Should we
Okay.
break some, actually not break, but take aways at a couple of minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, this to spread the peaceful or the negating form, of it, to spread it for the others. I'm not going to have a very bad trick to be done on you, or I'm going to secure you, or I'm going to have present to you, you know, peaceful time or whatever of that regard. This is my understanding. Other question? Yes, go ahead.
You said there was 4 surahs that primarily talk about the Asma Allah?
No. The title Al-Asma al-Husna mentioned in 4 surahs. The title Al-Asma al-Husna mentioned in 4 surahs. Namely, they are Al-A'raf, Al-Isra, Taha, and Al-Hashr. The title, you correct me if I'm wrong, if someone find it, you know, in 5th surah, you know, tell me, no, my friend, you have another surah mentioned. Yani here, the title Al-Asma al-Husna, which according to many scholars mean these 99 name, you know, of Allah, not all of Asma of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we believe in the other names, you know, holy names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This quotation or this title has been mentioned, you know, in 4 different surahs. Other question?
Can I have a follow-up?
Okay.
How do they correlate the Asma Allah Husna with the 99 scholars?
Because as you may know, you know, Al-Husna in Arabic language means the most beautiful or the most nice looking one, you know, or whatever, you know. That's mean when they are highlighted, you know, in the prophetic hadith mutawatir, in Allah 99 اسما اسما 100 إلا واحدة, when they are highlighted, they should be the most efficient for us. Go ahead, yes. And you have different narration, you know, of it, you know, and this is maybe changeable, you know, according to the nature of the humankind. As I said, you know, أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. This is, you may consider it as one of the greatest name, you know, because here, regardless, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not specify that that person should be a believer, you know. And here when he have the answer, if this is the main interest that we have, you know, you have many other factors, you know, mentioned in the hadith. You have in one hadith, Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did tell Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, أَطِمْ مَطْعَمَكْ تُسْتَجَبْ دَعْوَتَكْ. When you have halal food, you know, all the time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept your dua, okay? The meaning of acceptance of dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely different than our meaning, you know. We want it right away to happen here, okay? As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did say, you know, it may happen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may take harmful matter, you know, which was coming to you, or it may be delayed or postponed to the hereafter. We don't understand it in such a way. Okay, other questions? Yes, we have questions there?
We have associated meanings to all names of Allah except Allah Himself. So, what do you mean by Allah?
To love Him. Okay? And this is a great position from Allah to give us His name. I may give this example, I don't know if you like it or not, you know. If someone loves another one, what's your name, you know? I'm not going to give your name, my name, you know. Okay, and is going to feel bad really about it, you know. Here we are in great position that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us His holy name, you know, to say, Ya Allah, when we are in real need of it, you know. But don't I'm speaking with myself, you know, don't pretend as a God, you know, or whatever. Yeah. Yes?
You said Surah Ar-Rahman is like the best explanation for the name Rahman. So, I mean, it also talks about the punishments in the Akhirah. So how do we relate that to the Rahman of Allah?
We are too selfish. This may be rahmah for the others, you know. In Badr battle, you know, you have some people, they were killed, you know, or whatever, you know. But this was very nice victory to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see, don't be selfish, please. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of everyone, okay? And that's one, you know, I'm not telling you, perhaps you have good point, you know. Perhaps some maybe understand it as such, you know. Even the punishment, there is a merciful action inside it, you know. But just look to the others, you know. I remember this joke, you know. I don't know if it's real or not, you know, that a person kept, Ya Allah, Why you create hellfire? You know, crying and shouting. Why Allah you create hellfire? Then in one day while he was walking, you know, a soldier beat him up, you know, very strongly. He was about to die. He said, Ya Allah, you do know. I don't know. Other questions? Yeah, go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
You mentioned that we should use the word Tabarakallah. In what context do you mean that?
No, I did not say we shouldn't use Tabarakallah. Tabaraka for me or for someone similar to me or for humankind, we shouldn't use the term Tabarak. This is only for Allah. We should use the term Tabarakallah. Okay.
We will break now for 10 minutes. And babysitting is available. It's upstairs above the shoe area. There's a balcony up there. There's the two babysitters there. So if you need babysitting, you can bring your child there. Otherwise, we'll break and reconvene at 11:30.